If you're watching this on a laptop or smartphone right now, it's easy to forget just how far computers have come. Today's devices are fast, small, and intelligent, but the journey to get here took almost a century of innovation, failure, breakthroughs, and imagination. This is the story of how computers evolved, from room-sized machines running on vacuum tubes to the AI-powered systems we use today. The beginning, 1940s, when computers filled entire rooms. The first computers weren't built for everyday people. They were created for war, science, and mathematics. Machines like ENIAC in 1945 weighed 30 tons, filled a large room, and needed dozens of engineers just to keep it running. ENIAC used 18,000 vacuum tubes, which generated enough heat to warm an entire building. And what could it do? Solve ballistic equations, very slowly by today's standards. But for its time, it was revolutionary. 1950s, the birth of programming. The next big leap came with the transition from vacuum tubes to transistors. Invented in 1947 and adopted widely in the 1950s, transistors were smaller, cheaper, faster, and more reliable. This decade also gave birth to the first programming languages. COBOL for business, Fortran for scientific computing. For the first time, humans were giving instructions to machines using something other than wires and switches. 1960s. Mainframes and the corporate computer boom. By the 1960s, computers had spread from universities to large corporations. IBM's mainframes became the standard for global business operations. Companies used them for payroll, banking, and data processing. Keyboards and magnetic tapes became normal parts of computing. Computers were still massive, but they were becoming essential. 1970s. The microprocessor revolution. Everything changed in 1971 when Intel released the Intel 4004, the world's first commercial microprocessor. Instead of using thousands of separate circuits, a full CPU fit on a tiny silicon chip. This invention paved the way for the personal computer revolution. By the late 1970s, hobbyists and early tech pioneers began building small computers. Apple I and Apple II, Commodore PET TRS-80. Computers were finally entering homes. 1980s, the PC goes mainstream. Then came IBM PC, 1981, and Microsoft MS-DOS, forming the foundation of modern personal computing. The 1980s also introduced the world to graphical user interfaces. Apple's Macintosh in 1984 let users interact with icons, windows, and menus. No more typing everything. This was the decade computers became personal, friendly, and indispensable. 1990s. The Internet age. The 1990s changed everything. Computers were no longer isolated machines, they were connected. The World Wide Web turned computers into gateways to information, communication, and entertainment. Windows 95 brought the start button, taskbar, and true multitasking. Laptops became more common. Email replaced letters. Search engines replaced libraries. Computing shifted from local to global. 2000s. Mobility and the rise of laptops. By the 2000s, the computer left the desk and became portable. Wireless internet, USB drives, cloud storage, and Wi-Fi transformed how people worked. This decade also saw the birth of smartphones, especially the iPhone in 2007, merging computers, phones, and cameras into a single device. 2010s to today. AI and hyperconnectivity. The last decade introduced machine learning, cloud computing, and powerful mobile hardware. Computers are now everywhere: phones, cars, watches, TVs, refrigerators, even doorbells. AI systems like ChatGPT, Alexa, and Google Assistant recreate human-like conversation. Laptops today are millions of times faster than early machines. We've gone from vacuum tubes to AI chips that learn and adapt. Final thoughts. The history of computers isn't just about technology. It's the story of how humanity transformed information, communication, and creativity. From giant machines operated by scientists to personal devices in every pocket, computers have become the nervous system of modern life. And if the past 80 years taught us anything, it's this: we're still just at the beginning. Which era of computing do you remember? DOS, Windows 95, or the smartphone revolution? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more tech stories every week.